Hello and welcome to Jeremy's Retro Bar. I'm Jeremy and this is my Retro Bar. And this week we're going to be taking a look at this, the Sharp MZ-80C, which I think is an incredibly good looking computer. But of course, first, we're going to need to make ourselves a drink. All right, for this week's drink, in honor of this Japanese computer, we're going to be making a Japanese cocktail known as a lemon Chuhai. And we're just gonna make it right here in the glass, so it should be pretty simple. We're gonna start off by just adding some ice to the glass. Then we're gonna add some soju, which is a Japanese liquor. So I'm just gonna fill about 1/3 of this glass with the soju, which really works out to be about an ounce. I'm gonna top that with about 2/3 of the glass with club soda, where we're gonna go ahead and squeeze in a wedge of lemon and then rim the glass with it. And I probably don't have enough room, probably made my wedge too big, but you can also just throw the lemon in the glass. And there we have a lemon Chuhai. Cheers. Very, very light, very good in the summer. It's very refreshing. It has just a hint of that lemon, and yeah, it's great. So, all right, let's take a look at this Sharp. This is the Sharp MZ-80C. It was released only in Japan in 1979 for 268,000 yen, or about $1,230 US based on 1979 conversion rates. It was the follow-up to the MZ-80K. The MZ-80C was the first computer Sharp sold that came fully assembled, as the previous MZ-80K was a kit computer. The 80C also had an improved keyboard and came standard with 48K of RAM. The Sharp MZ line of computers are all based on the Zilog Z80 8-bit microprocessor. The name MZ comes from micro and Z80. On the MZ-80C, the processor is running at 4 MHz. It has 4K of ROM and 48K of RAM. The attached monitor is a 10-inch green screen with 40-column text mode and an 80x50 graphics mode. There is a single speaker with one-channel sound similar to a PC speaker, but with the genius addition of a volume control in the back. Software is loaded from the 1200 baud tape recorder, which is also elegantly designed into the computer case. Around back, there is a single expansion bus, which could be used to attach floppy drives and other peripherals. The MZ-80C is called a clean computer by Sharp, and what this means is there was no code in ROM like BASIC, just a monitor program that allowed you to load software. If you wanted BASIC, you had to load it from tape. If you wanted CP/M, you could load that. If you wanted Fortran or FDOS, those were available too. So unlike the Apple II or Commodore PET at the time, all the memory in the MZ would be used for whatever program you were running. While the MZ-80C was only available in Japan, probably because the West couldn't handle its awesome red monitor, the MZ line did make its way to Europe and enjoyed moderate success. It was succeeded by the very successful Sharp X1 line of computers. So I purchased this computer off of a website called Buyee, Buyee, which is a middleman for Yahoo Japan. So I got it from an auction, Yahoo Japan, during kind of the middle of COVID. One of those late night, we'll see if I get it type bids. And mostly I got it because I just love the look and the aesthetic of the machine. It's like a much more stylish Commodore PET. And it's kind of from the same era, and I would say functionally a very similar machine to the Commodore PET. But I love that it has the sharp red, which I know is for a lot of people is associated with the X1 series of Sharp computers. Because they did those in the same color red. So I just think it's just one of the coolest looking machines. So that's why I got it. But of course, when I got it, it was just the machine. I have no tapes, no software of any kind, no floppy drives to allow me to do floppy loading or anything like that. It's just the machine. And so, so I've tried some things to try to get it to work, and I haven't been successful yet. And I'm gonna walk through some of those so you guys kind of know what my issues are, or if I'm just not trying something super basic, which is very likely because I'm less familiar with these types of machines. I've never used a machine with a tape deck. My first machine was the original IBM, and it came with floppy drives, and so I'm not familiar with even loading things from tape for the most part. But from what I understand, I think I'm doing the process correctly. It's just not loading. Anyway, we're going to take a look at what we can do with it, and then and that'll be it. It'll probably be a pretty short episode. So I'm going to move the camera, get it closer so we can kind of take a better look at what we're working with. Here we are looking at our MZ-80C, and it just has an on-off switch here in the back, and if I flip it on, it's going to launch right into this monitor program. It just says monitor SP-1002, and this is what we get. What I've done to try to load up the software to it is I have a tape adapter in the cassette drive, and then I have a wire running out, and then I just have it plugged into my iPhone here. So you can see here, I've made a playlist of all these games that are apparently supported for this machine, which should be the same for the MZ-80K as well as the MZ-80C. And so, it's stuff like Defender, Breakout, Alien Attack, things like that. And then I just have a bunch of basic, so see if I can load basic onto it. And so, so I'm gonna kind of show you what we can do with that. So what we get is, if you type in load to load something from tape, and then this play shows up, which tells us to hit play on our tape. And then I'm gonna go ahead and play the Hudson Soft Basic here on my iPhone. And we can see that it loads, loading Hudson Basic version 1.3/K. And that's it. That's as far as we get with any of these programs that I try to load. I get the loading screen, and then you can play through the whole thing, and it just doesn't load beyond that. I'm not sure if it's missing something. I saw that inside there's two, looks like ICs that could be missing that are just jumpered. You can see these two here are just jumpered, and so I don't know if it's character ROMs that it's missing characters and that's why this won't load. I'm not really sure, but I get it with everything. So I'm gonna go ahead and break, stop, and I'm gonna pick a different cassette here. So I'm just gonna try Breakout here. So again, I'm gonna type in load. Tells us to hit play. You hit play. I hit play. Loading Breakout, right? And here I'm just gonna let it run through. My understanding is that all the cassettes have the code twice, so it should only have to go to the halfway point to finish loading. So here we are at the halfway point, so it should have jumped us into this program, and it hasn't yet. And I've tried different things like adjusting the volume on it. If I'm too quiet, I don't get that first loading screen. But I've noticed, somewhere, past the 50%, 60%, 75% seems to be a good level that I get the loading screen, or where it says it's loading, but nothing loads. And you can see here, it's just gonna time out on my iPhone here. It's gonna play to the end, and that's it. And then it just goes to the next track. Nothing loads. Okay, so I know that's kind of the dilemma that I keep running into. And then another thought was, oh, maybe it doesn't have enough RAM. And so there's this one called Basic 3K, which is a tiny, tiny, tiny version of Basic. And so we'll try that. Load, whoops, return, hit play, and I hit play on that. And you can see, boom, loading. Assume that's supposed to be Basic, but it has some kanji characters there. It's a very short track here. You can see it's gonna go pretty quick. And that's it, nothing happens. Times out, goes to a different thing. So everything that I've tried does the same thing, and that is nothing. It doesn't load anything that I'm trying to get onto it. So as you can see here, the monitor program appears to be working. When I type in load, it tells me to hit play. It knows that I hit play. So I'm unsure of what's going on. Now, a couple of other commands that we can do here is I can type in SG, and that's going to turn on a keyboard beep tone, which makes it beep anytime I hit a character. So that appears to be working. And then if I hit the SS, that turns the beep tone off, and now that's not going to do anything. Well, unfortunately, that's about all I can do with this machine. I can turn some beeps on the keyboard, and I can start to load a program, but that seems to be about it. Again, if anybody out there knows more information, I would love to have that information, to know what I can do to get stuff onto this really cool looking machine. Now, all's not lost. It's gorgeous looking. It looks great on a shelf. It seems to still be working from a hardware perspective, so I might just have to be patient and wait till I can get some actual cassette tapes from Japan and try to load those on there. But again, it also could be these two chips here that have the jumpers on them, the CS1 and the CS2. And so I have to look and see if I can figure out what those chips are, and if that's true, if it's missing chips, or what this kind of soldering job here was, if it was just part of how these machines were, or if it's something that's actually wrong with it. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed at least a little bit of the history and got to take a look at this machine in this video. But yeah, thank you for watching. Thank you very much for subscribing, and I'll see you next time.